Hello, everybody. Pastor Ryan Radke from Messiah Lutheran Church here again with another community service connection. Part of Messiah Lutheran's mission and purpose is to love our neighbors here in the community of Mechanicsville and the surrounding areas. And part of how we live out that mission is to shine a spotlight on organizations and ministries and agencies that are already doing good work for our communities. So we want our community and you watching at home to get connected to these services and find out how you can participate. So today, I want to welcome Karen Carsons from Virginia Kids Belong. Is it Virginia or Virginia's?
Virginia.
I've been saying it wrong. I'm
That's
so sorry.
okay.
From Virginia's Kids Belong. Thank you for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here, and I so appreciate all that you all have done already to welcome me and to open your hearts to the kids in foster care. They are a group of vulnerable parts of our people in our community that span so many different levels, whether it's the children, whether it's their parents, whether the foster parents, the social workers, all of the people in this ecosystem are in a need. They are in need of care, of love, and support.
Please tell us about Virginia's Kids Belong and what you do to care, love, and support.
Absolutely. Virginia's Kids Belong was started just 5 years ago when our founder recognized the need for more foster families here in Virginia. But she knew that we didn't need to be another placement agency. We needed to do something on a larger scale so that folks would understand that this is something that everybody can participate in, whether it is becoming a foster parent, supporting a foster family, or simply doing everything that you can to help build up the kids that are in this situation. So we were created to work in more of a macro space. So while we do work with individual children, we also work with faith communities, local businesses, and government to ensure that everybody sees the role that they can play to lift these kids up and to help them find what we would call permanency or a place to belong.
Sounds like you are making a lot of connections between all these different groups.
Yes,
filling in the gaps.
That is exactly it. And what we've discovered is from our faith communities, especially, we all understand what it means to serve. We all understand what it means to recognize the vulnerable in our community and help lift them up, just as our Lord has done that for us. We then can go out and be the hands and feet of Christ and really serve a population that right now is in a situation where they are lost. Now, that doesn't mean that we go out and try and change them. We don't go out and try and make them all look like us. What we do is we meet them where they are, and we love them, and we serve them so that they can come to a place of healing and hope, so that at some point they can find that sense of belonging. So at Virginia's Kids Belong, every child is treated the same way, with dignity, with respect, and with an encouraging spirit, so that no matter what their situation was or the world that they're in right now, we're going to do something to lift them higher than where they are today.
What is your role at Virginia's Kids Belong?
So I have the best job because I get to do a lot of different things. I was recently made the Chief Operations Officer because I'm the numbers person. But more than that, I'm also the director for our community engagement program. That is, I get to go and speak with folks to raise awareness. I get to share ways that they can connect. We like to say that everybody can do something. And so a lot of what I spend my time doing is talking with folks and saying, well, what do you like to do? Because I can tell you of a need that may not fit you or your world, but you can turn around and say, well, I love to cook. I love to mow lawns. I love to whatever. And I can help you then see where you fit into the puzzle, because everybody can do something, but nobody can do everything.
You just gave me a beautiful segue to my next question. How can community members volunteer or support the work that Virginia's Kids Belong is doing? What help or volunteers are you currently looking for? What kind of gifts or talents would be helpful? You kind of answered that one.
Well, and I'm gonna give you 3 areas. First of all, please learn more about foster care. Learn more about the people involved. Ask your friends, your neighbors, are you involved with this? And if you find people that are, help them with whatever that needs. Maybe that just means a listening ear. Maybe that needs a second grandparent that comes alongside and just takes the kids. One of the beautiful things about our foster care system in Virginia is that anybody that loves the kids, that the family trusts, can help with the kids. But a lot of foster parents tend to isolate themselves because sometimes their kids have behaviors that might not be acceptable in normal environments. And so you all do an amazing job of welcoming anybody that walks through the door. So my second suggestion would be, think about what that means when it comes to families, foster families, and how you can be welcoming to them. The number one question that I'm always asked is there a way that we can prepare for something like that? And the answer is yes. And it sounds scary, but it's not, and it's called trauma training. But all of the kids in foster care have experienced some level of trauma. And that trauma expands throughout the families as well. And so when you have that education and that background knowledge, you can be that open and welcoming place that is not triggering for them, but supportive of them. And so being trauma aware, being informed, reaching out and helping when you can is kind of the first step to understanding how you can be involved. Now, there's a lot more tangible things you can do as well. From the standpoint of there are needs everywhere, whether it be foster family was all set up for small children and they decided to take a placement for a teenager and suddenly the nursery doesn't fit, for having the church come alongside that. And here in Hanover, we're very fortunate in that there is a network of churches that have come together to help meet those needs. So I'm hoping very much that we can connect Messiah Lutheran in that network so that they can continue to hear all about what's happening and see where they can plug in. But if you have a special thing that you do, maybe it's writing cards, maybe it's making, you like to knit. One of the things that we have seen with these kids is that most of them have never received anything that is handmade. That's come off of a wish list somewhere, it's a gift card. And even though they might say, oh yes, I want a Roblox gift card or a some kind of other device. When a child hears that somebody took the time to make something special, that becomes a prized possession. And it becomes an opportunity for us to share that there are people everywhere that care about these kids. And for most of them, they feel pretty abandoned right now. So if that is something that you are good at or you love to do, that's a great place to plug in. And then of course, finally, and I mentioned this earlier today, we need prayer because our faith communities can build up the work in a way that nobody else can. And yet for some reason, we don't always think about that. We think, oh, we have to solve this problem. But this is not a man-made problem. This is a God-sized solution. So I would just really covet your prayers.
I can tell that you're very passionate about this. What is it about this work that clearly brings you joy, sense of purpose?
Every now and then, we get a success story. And I'll be very transparent. When I started this work 4.5 years ago, I knew nothing about this world. I knew that something was broken in the system, but I couldn't figure out what it was. Whether it was concerns over homelessness or trafficking or food insecurities or all of the different things, I couldn't figure out where it all started. And as I got into this work, I realized it starts with foster care. It starts with people not having the connections that they need to establish themselves as adults. And so when I figured that out, I thought I can do something about that. I originally came to this work because I heard a statistic that broke my heart. And the statistic was that 89% of kids that age out of foster care without a family. So that means that they've become 18 and they've left the system. 89% will experience homelessness, unplanned pregnancies, trafficking, increased rates of substance abuse, increased rates of suicide before their 21st birthday. And I said, we've got to do better than that. And so that's why I got involved.
Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
And if people want to ask questions or get involved, where should they go? Phone number, website, email, where should we send them?
Absolutely. Well, we do have a lot of resources available on our website, which is simply vakidsbelong.org. But I am more than happy to talk with anybody, and they can reach me directly at Karen@vakidsbelong.org.
And I will do my best to get that attached
Absolutely.
to this video.
The only thing that I would ask is that you please remind me that you met me at Messiah Lutheran.
Or that you watch this video.
Yes,
Yep,
please.
yep.
Because I do meet a lot of people.
Well, is there anything else you want people to know?
I think the only thing else would be to say thank you, because these kids do have voices, but they're often unheard. And so just by your presence and your engagement, you are amplifying their voices in a world where they need to be heard. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Karen, for being here, for recording this with us, and thank you for the whole organization, for Virginia's Kids Belong, for the work you do.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you. Take care. You too.